ever struggled to make video content, I'm willing to bet it's because of one or more of these things. Number one, maybe you're not feeling confident about how you're showing up. It could be related to the technology you have, your lighting, your background. Number two, you aren't sure if what you say will be compelling enough to have an audience sit up and take notice. Or number three, you don't have a system to get it all done. It feels like a logistical nightmare to write scripts, shoot videos, and edit them. I'm Cheryl Tan. I help experts and executives use video to showcase their expertise. I hope you can join me for my upcoming workshop, Lights, Camera, Confidence, Techniques for a Powerful On-Camera Presence, where I share my best tips for how you can use video to create connections, attract more leads, and get more opportunities. I hope you can join us.
Hey everyone, welcome to another Big View educational session. I'm so glad to be with you today. Robert Kennedy III, RK3, that's me, and listen, we've got a fantastic show for you all today. I was told that I needed to bring in a friend with me today, so how about that? Here we go. There we go. All right, listen, y'all. We're going to have a fantastic time today. We're going to have a great time with this session. Lights, camera, confidence, techniques for a powerful on-camera presence. If you've ever felt not confident or unconfident in your camera presence, if you have felt like your lighting and your background didn't measure up, if you have been nervous about sharing your message because you didn't feel like it was compelling or engaging enough, well, listen, we are going to have a fantastic session for you today. This is your time and this is your session. I'm going to bring up our guest in just a moment. But first of all, let me introduce myself once again. Robert Kennedy III, RK3. I work with real estate professionals and small business owners who need to attract their ideal audience and tell their story with confidence on video in a special way. So you can tell my guest today is of special significance to me. All right, if you've got questions today, I see you, Legal James. If you've got questions today, make sure that you type the letter Q before it and then ask your question, because we're going to be answering your questions during our session today. As a matter of fact, our guest today has a fantastic giveaway that you'll want to make sure that you'll take advantage of. Okay, so before we get started, I just want to share with you who our guest is. Our guest today is Cheryl Tan. She's a video marketing and media advisor for business owners, the host of the Standout podcast, and the creator of CherylTanMedia.com. Cheryl, welcome to the show, the Big View Show. Where is Cheryl? Hey, how you doing, Cheryl?
I'm great, Robert. It is so
glad
good to be on the show with you today. I'm ready to dance. Are you ready to dance?
Yeah, let's go. Let's dance. Do we have any dancing people? Hold on. There we go.
There you go.
There we go. Come on. All right.
And I love the folks joining in on the chat. Welcome to all the folks joining us from all over, and really excited just to talk about energy and video and how we can get your energy up on camera.
This is going to be fantastic. Bonnie Anderson, welcome. Kim is manifesting. Welcome. Daniela Rusal, welcome. Liz Staunton, Christina Palomino. Oh my gosh, Kim is manifesting. My gosh, Dr. Paula C. Perez. Howdy. Hey, how you doing? Good to see you. I'm so glad everybody's here. Legal James. My goodness. Yeah, so as a matter of fact, if you have any experience with video, just type yes in the chat. If you have any experience with video, just type yes in the chat so we know who's in the room. If you don't have any experience with video, just type oops in the chat. How about that? All right. So we know who's in the room. Susan's got some experience. Yes. Fantastic. All right. Dr. Paula C. Yes. Liz Staunton. Yes. Melissa Miller. I love it. We've got a lot of video people in the room today. Fantastic. Rodrigo Suerte Felipe says yes. Okay. I hope I got my R's rolling correctly on that one. All right. Jeanette Holloway says very little experience. Don't worry. We've got it for you today, Jeanette. We got you. All right. So Cheryl Tan, let's start with the obvious question. My gosh, why are you excited about video?
It's busy out there, right?
Yeah.
I'm a mom of 3 sons. We've got kids going to college this week, end of summer break. We're trying to get a couple of getaways planned. There's a lot happening, and it's hard to focus. But the beauty of video is if you've got the right message in front of the right person, then that video is going to cut through the noise. That's it. Because it's easy to press play on something, or when you're scrolling, stop on a feed and take a closer look at what you're interested in getting more information on. That's the bottom line. And I think that's the beauty of video.
Yeah. So let's flip the script for a second. So we've talked about the beauty of video. Let's dive in really quickly and let's talk about what are some of the things that you see on video that make you go, oh, or are just not effective. What's the biggest mistake that you see happening these days when you flip on your video screen?
Right. I think the number one thing is probably someone who isn't quite focused on their messaging. And so, you know what happens when you're not focused on your messaging? There are people that you know who kind of talk a little bit too long. Sometimes those videos are the result, where you're just talking with no point. And then people click off of those videos. Number two is a little of like not being aware. And we're going to talk a little bit more about this, but when you are on camera, maybe not being aware of your surroundings, and maybe sitting with the light behind you, maybe not focusing on your framing, that kind of thing. So that's more of a visual kind of thing. And then the third thing is not anything you can see. It's actually when somebody doesn't post anything at all. And so that's like that opportunity cost, if you will, where you're not sharing anything. So no one has the opportunity to hear the amazing words that you have to say.
Wow, that is fantastic. So if you are sitting there hiding in plain sight, you have all this fantastic content, you have this fantastic transformational information, but you're not posting it on video. Wow, it's time to click that doggone record button and get started with this thing. And Cheryl's going to tell us a little bit more about how to do that. But before we dive in further with Cheryl, again, if you've got questions, make sure you type the letter Q and then your question after so that we can separate it from the rest of the copious comments that we'll see throughout this. Also, we're going to be doing a giveaway at the end. Cheryl is going to be giving away, get this, y'all. She's going to be giving away not one, not two, not three, not even four, but 10 15-minute sessions with her to do a video audit of your content. So I'll let her tell you a little bit more about that later on, but you want to hang around. You want to hang around till the end so that we can tell you how to take advantage of that giveaway or how to be in the number so you can be chosen. All right. So Cheryl, take us away. Where do we want to start with regard to the challenges people face on video and how they can become more confident?
Absolutely. Okay. So let me just ask Bruno to start sharing my screen. Thank you, Robert. And we'll talk about video in just a moment, but I want to tell a really quick story. So I'm working with a client right now who is incredible. And I have to say that all of my clients are incredible. This particular client is as incredible as all my other ones. And she knew that video was her key to reaching an audience. And the camera kept her stuck, kept her from pressing record, kept her from getting her message out there. And I'm just so thrilled because we worked together, we created some video content, and she posted this video yesterday and has gotten hundreds of comments. And she just texted me and said, "This is incredible. People are resonating with what I'm saying." And this is why video is that, it's that way to connect with your audience that, of course, you can have that connection when you're in person with somebody. But this is also a way to do this in mass, to be able to share this kind of content on a social media page as something you send one-on-one to somebody. And so I just want to share that story as a person who was terrified of creating this content, who did it and is now grateful and will continue to create content from now on. So Robert asked a variation of this question, and I'm going to ask it again. I've got two to share with you. Are you a video creator right now, or are you just getting started? And I want to say that you're one or the other, because if you're here on this masterclass, this workshop, you are thinking about it. You're wanting to use it. Maybe you're wanting to use the Big View app to create more content. That's great. or maybe you are using video and maybe you want to just get a little bit better at creating a little bit more consistency. So I'm seeing Jeanette is just getting started. Wonderful. And hopefully you get started for real after we finish this. Let's see, Legal James just getting started. And Dr. Paula says she's about 30 days into creating daily content. That's fabulous. That is wonderful. I think we could all channel that and would enjoy the opportunity to create 30 days in a row. It's good stuff because you learn a lot about yourself when you create that much content in a row. So my question number 2 is for those of you who are creating content or who are just getting started, doesn't even matter. What are some of the challenges you face in creating video content? So Robert, I'm just going to ask you this. When did you start feeling comfortable on camera? When did you start feeling like this is it? I'm going to keep doing this. How long did it take?
It took a while, I would say, before I got to a specific place of comfort, because when you're on camera, you don't always have that immediate feedback that you do in the audience. You can see people's eyes in the audience and their faces and their responses. And so okay, yeah, I'm getting through to them. But there's still that thing on camera where you don't have anybody that you're wondering. So it did take some repetition for me to begin saying, you know what, I just need to show up as the best me, and they're going to get the real authentic me. And that was good enough for me to be comfortable.
Oh, I love that. So I'll say my background is in television news. So my job was to be on camera before I was comfortable being on camera. It was my job. I was getting paid to do it. And I still think it probably took me 5 or 6 years to feel comfortable on camera. And it is, number 1, because it was my job. And if I didn't do the job, I didn't get paid. Number 2, it takes repetition, Robert, like you said, repetition. And then it's like a snowball. Then you start to feel more comfortable. You start dialing in your message. As Kim is saying, is the more you do it, the more you feel comfortable with getting up and trying it again. And so that's the one thing I hope you take away from this is it doesn't happen overnight. Even though you see Robert and his dancing friends, you see how comfortable he is on camera and his friends are comfortable too. There you go. It takes a little time to get that way. It takes, in some cases, for me, it took years. It takes some time to feel that way. And if you don't feel 100% comfortable, it's okay. And let's see, somebody's talking about lighting. We're going to talk about equipment and lighting in just a little bit. Cool. Robert, thank you so much. And as far as the challenges, that's what people are saying. They're talking about equipment. They're talking about lighting. They're talking about messaging. And I'm glad you all are saying that because we're going to be addressing that in just a little bit. So here's how I see it. In working with, I think at this point, hundreds of people to help them show up on camera, the goal to me is in the middle of this triangle is to be seen as that expert in your space, right? If you have a business, if you're trying to launch something, your goal is to be seen as that authority. And being the media authority to me is being that person that people turn to and they're saying, oh, I need to know something about dentistry or law or real estate. I'm going to go to this person. And establishing that media authority is the key using video. And some of the problems related to being seen as that expert and using video as your medium are 3 things. Number 1 is you're just uncomfortable on camera. Could be because of your lighting, your messaging. It could be because of your equipment. A lot of things could happen, but whatever it is, you're just not feeling you on camera. Number 2, the messaging you have is unclear. People just aren't sure who you are, what you do, how you can help them. And number 3 is you may have an inconsistent content plan. So you may be committing what I call a RAV, which is a random active video, where you post a video one day and then like 4 years later, you're like, maybe I should post another video. But by then, 4 years have passed. And if that's you, that's okay, because we've all been there. I've definitely been there. We've all been there. And so the things I talk about today are not because I'm perfect at them, but because together we're working to make them 1% better, 10% better to create the content that we want. Because once you get those things dialed in, you have confidence, you have connection, and you are creating on a consistent basis. And video starts to work for you. So in this workshop today, we're going to be able to tackle confidence and connection. And if you have more questions, reach out to me after. We can talk about the other things later, but we're going to get to the confidence and the connection piece today. And why this is important is because once you get that dialed in, once you feel like yourself on camera and you have a message that resonates with the people who need to hear what you have to say, you create this know, like, and trust factor. And people do business with people they know, like, and trust. As I was saying earlier, since I left the TV newsroom, I've been working with business owners to help them show up with more confidence on camera. And I run these video boot camps. And I've learned so much about a lot of things related to getting people feeling confident on camera and getting them honestly to the result that they want. And so here are my 3 lessons. Number 1 is community is critical to success. And to be honest, really this means positive peer pressure works. Because in our group, the goal was to create video content within a span of 4 weeks, 10 videos in 4 weeks, and to post these videos in a private Facebook group. And when one person would post, they would say, oh, I need a post. She posted, he posted, I need a post. And that positive peer pressure absolutely works. You know what else works? Is a deadline. Is we would have weekly meetings, and there was no coincidence that, let's say our meetings were on Monday, Sunday night, I would get a flurry of people posting video content because we are busy. We've got lives, we've got things happening. But when you have a deadline, it forces you to say, okay, my deadline's Monday. I need to start doing this video on Sunday. When you had all the weeks to do it, it's okay. It's just the way human nature is. But seeing those videos post on Sunday, they made my week. And then the third thing I learned about running these video boot camps, and it comes from my TV days, is that practicing for real gets results. I remember when we used to do live shots for TV and we prepare for them. Sometimes in our circle, we'd say, okay, well, let me just practice in front of a mirror. Let me do these live shots and get ready for them in a mirror. But really, the best way to get the experience and to get better is to do the actual live shot. Is to actually do the work. So practicing for real means even if you are not feeling as confident as you will be in the future, recording the piece of content on your phone is going to get you 110% more there than if you just practiced in front of a mirror. So those are the 3 things that I suggest is if you're feeling not as confident and not as willing to publish, is to do these 3 things. Find someone who can hold you accountable, give yourself a deadline, and practice for real, which means record something either on your phone or your laptop and make that be the content that you create, as opposed to thinking about it. And it doesn't mean that you have to publish it, but it does mean putting something out there where at least you can take a look at it. So I'm going to give you some ideas for content that you can create for these videos that you're going to record on your phone or on your laptop, or when you get an accountability buddy, some ideas of some content that you can put together. If you've heard of Marcus Sheridan, he has this book called They Ask You Answer. I think it's amazing. And it's funny, when I first left the TV news business, I was sort of doing the things that I was doing, creating content and putting together stories and getting them on the air because it was a job, but I hadn't systematized it. So when I came across Marcus Sheridan's book, I was like, oh, that is it. So I'm going to ask you to think about, just a moment, think about what it is that you do, the problem that you solve, the business that you have, whatever you're trying to promote, and think about the questions that your audience asks you. Robert, what questions do people ask you about your business?
So a couple of them are already in the chat. People ask me about my
Awesome.
background. People ask me about my studio. People ask me, how do I do things? How do I go live? How do I show up with confidence? How do I look so comfortable on camera? I serve the real estate market specifically, so I work with real estate professionals on video and storytelling and communication. So a lot of the questions that I get surround, okay, how do I do this in a confident way so that I can get leads? So I've got a lot of different questions that I get asked regularly.
Fabulous. That's great. So, for those of you watching, joining us live or on the replay, let us know, what questions do people ask you about your business? And feel free to ask me or Robert questions as well. But let's get a steady stream in your business. What do people ask you? It could be something as simple as, what hours are you open?
Yeah.
Could be questions like, how did you get your start? Like people are asking you, Robert.
Mhm.
Or people ask me all the time, how do I get connections in the media? How do I get my story told in the media? How do I get clear messaging? How do I make sure that the video that I create is resonating with my audience? All kinds of questions. But you should have a list running in your head, running in your notes app, running on a piece of paper, running down this chat right here. And so I'm going to ask you to answer those questions one by one in a video. And that's what I've done on my YouTube channel. I actually started that YouTube channel, well, years ago, but in COVID, in earnest, I started creating that video content, answering questions that people asked over and over and over again. And so that's just a simple way to come up with ideas. Very, very simple. Very, very, very simple. And then I want to give you a framework that you can use to just take those questions. You can just ask, you can just answer them on your video. Like if it's, what hours are you open? Very simple. Just answer that in a video. But if you've got something a little bit more in depth, maybe it is a question about interest rates that Rodrigo is asking, or people are
Yeah.
asking Rodrigo, how's the interest rates? Maybe related to real estate, that kind of thing. Or maybe he's asking you, Robert. I'm not sure. In any case,
No, no, no,
let's
no.
assume
They're responding to the question
to
about
my
what questions
question.
they get. Yeah.
So let's just say that Rodrigo is going to create a video about how interest rates are serving the real estate market right now. Is now a good time to buy given the current interest rates? That's a great video to create. You talk about this framework and use this in your video. Start off with the problem that you're solving. Maybe Rodrigo, you are working with buyers in this kind of market, and you try and find the best opportunities for buyers in whatever market you live in. And that's the problem you solve. The solution is what the solution is, how you do that with them, for them. And then the transformation that you have for your clients. And then you can frame that as you're talking about interest rates in this particular video. But use this framework, problem, solution, transformation, as you think about it. So remember when we talked about people who maybe are meandering a little bit in their videos, keep it really focused,
Yeah.
using the problem, solution, transformation framework. And it's something that is not always intuitive, but take a moment, write down your ideas, and think about them before you start recording. And that way you'll really focus on the problem at hand that you're trying to solve, and your audience will definitely appreciate it. So where do you go with this information? You're like, okay, I have some ideas. I have maybe a bit of a framework to create this video content. Think about where it is, where you want to go with this video. So let me know in the chat if you started creating video content, if this was something that you did more consistently than you do already. What would that look like for you? What would that be? Would it be a successful YouTube channel? Would it be leads that come into your business, maybe through email, maybe through social, maybe through text? And let me know that. I'd love to hear that. Like, what is it that having this kind of content working for you in your business, what are the results that you think you'll receive from that? A successful YouTube channel. YouTube is consistently surprises me. It really does. The videos on my channel, they consistently get views and I get comments and clients. And it wasn't designed to be like that. I didn't create it for it to be a viral kind of thing. It's a very niche topic that I focus on, but it's been really fun because people will reference the YouTube videos that they've seen and say, oh, I enjoyed that video, and they reach out for that reason. And I want you to think about the reality. So if you don't quite have the result that you want yet, what is the reality? And then what are the roadblocks that you have that are stopping you from getting to that reality? And I know that a lot of it is focused on equipment. Like, I know this. I absolutely know this. Robert, I know you know this. And it's funny, before we got on this call, I was telling Robert and Bruno with Big View that I had to get this brand new microphone because the other one that I'd been using for years just stopped working. And I think the audio is okay. But honestly, if I didn't have a microphone, I don't think you would notice. Like, I really don't think you would notice. So I'm really going to suggest that use what you have and level up when it's time, because I've seen this too often where people will stop themselves. They will keep from creating content because they think their equipment is not good enough. But if you're joining us on a laptop or a phone, I'm going to say with almost certainty that your equipment is just fine. And so I just want to go over these very basics of these 3 things to focus on, no matter what the equipment you have. Number 1 is audio. So again, I do have a new microphone. It's a Blue Yeti, but that doesn't mean that a Blue Yeti is what you need. If you're in a quiet place, then your audio is just fine. I was telling Robert earlier, I've got 3 sons. They were home earlier. They're not all home right now, but if they were like standing right next to me, we wouldn't be doing this interview here because it would be too loud. So make sure that there is a quiet area for you to do your videos and you'll be fine. Video, as I mentioned, if you have a smartphone, if you have a laptop, probably just good enough. And then when your videos start being more consistent and you start to enjoy the results of your videos, level up when it makes sense for you. And then as far as lighting, I like to keep things very, very simple. So I don't have any lights on me right now. I think, Robert, you have some lights on you, gorgeous lighting, but I'm sitting in front of a window. I'm sitting in front of a bay window, and the light that you see in this picture is a light that I use nighttime. So if you can face a window, you're just fine. So I work as a contractor for a local TV station now, and I do a lot of interviews actually from this space, which means that the other person that I'm doing an interview with is also in their home office. So what I'll do sometimes is, if the video, the audio, the lighting isn't to my liking, I will have them pick up their laptops and move around the house or their office or wherever they are. And we've done it 100% of the time, where we found a place that was clutter-free in the background, light enough on their face, and not too loud, and the videos have turned out just fine. So if lighting is an issue, face the light, find the light, and smile. Find the light and smile, which leads to my next point, is when you're thinking about you on camera. And I think that's some of the things that we try not to focus on when we're a little hesitant to be on camera, but the focus has to be on us. Is smiling and creating this energy around you is so impactful, so positively impactful. And here are just a couple of things to think about. Think about your framing. So in this picture, you can see the woman on camera. She is what I like to call the anchor of her shot. She is in the middle of her screen. She's got just about an inch of space between the top of her head and the top of her screen. And she's right there in the middle of her shot. She's the anchor of her shot. Can't miss her. She is wearing a solid color. So the focus is on her, not necessarily what she's wearing. She looks great. And you can tell she is excited and ready to talk about the subject she's being interviewed about. And then this is just a message to me. Sometimes I have a tendency to fidget a little bit and focus on the hair and touch no. So stop fidgeting. No touching the hair, Robert. No messing around. Sometimes it's easy to get nervous and fidget, but try and keep the fidgeting to a minimum. If you need to do it off camera. If there's some nervous energy, if that is the case, and that's okay, but just keep it off camera and keep the energy high using your smile to focus on that and the energy you want to put out in the video that you're creating. What do you think? Were these good tips? What is your tip? What is your most favorite tip that you will use for when you create your next video? Let me know. Robert, how about you? What is your favorite on-camera energy tip?
Wow. Well, I think my favorite on-camera energy tip is what I do before I get on camera, because a lot of people, they get on camera and they're not sure what they need to say, and they kind of feel the butterflies bubbling up. I redirect my energy. I shadow box, or I do something before I get on camera physically to get myself in that energy space that I want to be, so that I show up how I want to show up.
Oh, I like that. Where, I mean, you're getting the blood pumping, you are getting the energy in, the nerves out, if you will, and then you're ready to sit down and speak. I love it. I love it.
I love it. Jeanette says, smile. Ooh,
that's beautiful. That. Yes. Oh, and Legal James has a background that is appealing. Very good. Yeah. Very good. And whatever works for us to get us recording is what I like to focus on with the people that I work with, because I think that there are too many things that keep us from showing up. There are too many things that can keep us distracted from what is important. Cool. Right. Robert, thank you so much. So when we're talking about creating content that is us consistently, I just want us to remember this, which is practice makes confident, which means we have to do a lot of the video making tasks, creating a lot of video in order for us to even know what is working and what isn't. Because honestly, we don't know. We don't know it's going to work until we put it out there, which means we have to actually create it and send it out into the world for this to happen. So here are the 3 steps to success. And I do this with my clients. I do this one-on-one with them. And it's very simple, very, very simple. And I know it seems overly simple, but please bear with me. Number 1 is outline a script. Much like what we just did, is we came up with some ideas for video content. We created a frame. Through my framework, we created an outline. You talked about the problem in your video. You talked about the solution and a transformation. You block off camera time. So today is Tuesday. Maybe your camera time is Wednesdays at noon. Block it off. And you can use Big View for this to help you with steps 1 and 2. That is for sure. The Big View app is wonderful. And with the new AI possibilities you have in there, you can put your script in there, put in an outline. It can come up with some ideas for you for content and words, but you actually have to sit there and record. And Big View's app can help you with that as well. But you actually have to block off the time. And then this 3rd step is one that I notice people just don't do. And I know why they don't do it, but I know why they don't do it, because it's hard to watch yourself on camera once you've created this content, but you must watch what you have created. That's one of the things that we used in the video bootcamp that I found so effective is nobody got feedback until they watched their own creations and commented on it. It's just such a simple thing that you can do. Get a buddy, get an accountability buddy, outline that script, block off camera time, watch what you've created. And from that, you'll be able to see how much better you can improve, because you won't know until you see it. You just won't know. All right, so I have a challenge for each one of you. And this was from one of my students, one of my early students in one of the video boot camps. He said, oh, this is what I did. So I'm sharing this with you. Feel free to take a screenshot. I know it's a lot of words. It's not typically the way good slides are supposed to be formatted, but just take a screenshot, because I think this is really something that can help you if you do it. So as I mentioned, specify a time of day to shoot videos. Let's say Wednesdays at noon. Maybe you'll do that right before lunch. Pick a topic. For example, maybe you take a lesson you learned from the day before. So you can use this presentation. Maybe it's a lesson you learned today, and you can talk about it in a video. So let's say tomorrow you decide at noon on Wednesday, you're going to shoot your video about a lesson from the day before. So the lesson would be from today, but don't overcomplicate it. If you want to talk about what's happening in your day, if you want to talk about what's happening coming forward, maybe you talk about something happening in your business, totally fine. But just give yourself 2 minutes to shoot this video. That's not a lot of time. It could be you pressing record. Maybe you're umming and awing and thinking, but no more than 2 minutes. No more than 2 minutes are you recording, where you're just talking about the topic you have decided to talk about. Whether it is that lesson learned, or a new shipment you're getting in at the office, or something that you've got planned for next week, doesn't matter, but 2 minutes to shoot video. You're going to do this for 5 days. So for 5 days at noon, you'll do this. It'll be on your phone or on your laptop. And then you're going to watch all of the videos after day 5. And why this is so impactful is it's very actionable. Nobody sees it except you, unless you want to show them. And the reason I love having these videos on your phone or laptop is, what if these videos are amazing? What if they're fabulous? Then you have video to post somewhere, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So really the beauty of it is, after 5 days, you've got 5 videos of yourself, and you can see the progression from day 1 to day 2 to day 3 to day 4 to day 5. And if you actually do the videos by day 5, you'll feel very different about video than you did before day 1. I see it over and over again. For those who actually take the time to take this step, it becomes something that has changed the way they think about video content. So I hope you do this. I hope you do this. Okay, so tell me in the chat, is this something that you will commit to? And if you will, type in 5-day video challenge. It's a free 5-day video challenge with yourself. So type it in the chat. Let's use this positive peer pressure. Let's use it. 5-day video challenge. Just type it in the chat. Let me know, please. I'd love to know if this is something that you will consider doing, and that you can see other people who are joining us today, yes, are doing it as well. Positive peer pressure. And there's a deadline, remember, 5 days. And it's powerful. And so check in. This recording will be on the Big View YouTube channel. Check in afterward if you're wanting to, and let us know how you feel after those 5 days. Feel free to check in afterward. Fabulous.
Cheryl, let's ask a question here. So Kim is manifesting, asked something that I think is crucial as far as the structure or the framework of your videos. She's asking, do you recommend always introducing yourself at the beginning of a video, or is that context specific?
It is context specific. And thank you so much for a great question, because I think it's normal. We'd want to say, hi, I'm Cheryl. And you would say, hi, I'm Robert. And it makes sense to want to do that. But because things are so busy in feeds, if you're posting this on social feeds, I always suggest starting with the problem, because the videos are not about us. Right. The videos are about your audience, and your audience only cares about what they care about. If you're interested in introducing yourself, do it after you address the problem that you're solving within the video. And I will say, if you start off a video with, hi, I'm Robert Kennedy, I'm not clicking off right away. Like, it's not terrible. But if we focus more on our audience, first of all, it'll be less nerve-wracking for us. It'll be more impactful for your audience, and it will encourage you to keep going. It's a great question. I've got a lot of people who are going to do this 5-day video challenge. Absolutely. Melanie says we've got this. Definitely. Definitely. And please check back and write on the Big View YouTube channel page where this recording will be, and let us know how it was after you do it. 5 days. 5 days. You can do this. We can do this. Yep. And yep, definitely. I love that. And 2 minutes, yeah, it does really go by quickly. And that is the point. That is the point. I don't want anyone to overthink it. I'll be honest, 2 minutes can feel like 2 hours when you're trying to fill time. But in those 2 minutes, you'll be able to get some ideas out there, wrap it up, put it on your phone, and get ready for the next day. It's really good stuff. And I really can't wait to hear how people feel about video once this is all done. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Let me go back to the next one. All right. To recap, I just want to encourage you to practice for real, doing the 5-day video challenge, if that makes sense for you, but to do this right now, using what you have. Because I know in somebody's mind, because I talk with a lot of people one-to-one about this, and someone they're thinking, I need to get a camera like Robert has. And Robert's camera is fabulous, but that could be another 3 months potentially, or a month at least, for you to get it all set up and figured out. In the meantime, do the challenge and get some video out there. People need to hear what you have to say. Yeah. And I'll tell you, remember the story I told you way in the beginning of my client who just posted that video content? The comments she's receiving are just that. I really needed to hear that today. I really got something about what you say. I really am stuck, and I enjoyed the message that you shared. So those are the things that she's getting from her video because she created that video and posted it. And she was hesitant to do so, just like we all are. And clarity about all of this, clarity about your message, clarity about where you even post, comes with actually taking the action required to get that result. 5-day video challenge. Okay. So as Robert was talking earlier about this free giveaway, it's a free video audit, and I'd love to be able to put my eyes on what you've created. I'd love for you to connect with me on LinkedIn. You can find me at Cheryl Tan Media, and share one major takeaway from today's talk. Very simple. Share that link. I'll give 10 video audits. And once you share that with me through the LinkedIn messages, I'll send you a calendar link and we can book a call. I'd love to see your video. If by some chance you don't have a video to show me, that's okay. We can talk about some things that you can do, which will probably be the 5-day video challenge, by the way. But you're welcome to call or to book a call. But what you can do to get to a place where you will have a video for me to look at.
Love it.
And if you are interested in just taking a look at my content, feel free to find me on YouTube. I'm on Instagram and sometimes on Facebook. I don't think Facebook is on there, but all the social platforms, feel free to reach out, and I'd love to keep in touch.
Excellent. Cheryl, can we lean in to one more thing just for a moment here? I think you talked about it briefly with regard to the fear or the anxiety that people have about being on camera. And I really want to ask you, what should people do, or what are some practices that they can do? Because one of the things that I do every Monday morning, I do this show at about 20 minutes, just a motivational Monday mindset show. And part of the reason I do it is because it gives me reps. I want to encourage people. I want to motivate people. I want to inspire people, but it gives me reps. It gives me reps in storytelling. It gives me reps or repetitions in being on camera and noticing some of my little subtle nuances and some of the things that I used to be afraid or critical of myself. I would think, oh my gosh, my forehead is shiny, or my nose looks big right there, or my gosh, my chin before the beard. All right, my chin looks a certain way, right? And I think that a lot of people go through those things in their brains. Can you talk to us a little bit about what you do to really minimize or to help you with those on-camera anxieties?
I would say that they don't go away.
Yeah.
Because if you care about the content that you're creating, you're always going to feel the butterflies in your stomach. You might feel a little bit of that chest pounding, right? It's not that I'm not nervous. Of course, I'm a little nervous because I want to make sure that I am delivering the type of content that is impactful for the people who are joining us today. But the difference for all of us, in order to get to the place where you have videos that connect, is being okay with that fear, is meeting it head on. And you mentioned the reps. I think that's such a great analogy. One of my sons used to play football, and they would call the plays. I didn't play, but they called the plays reps. And it was like practicing for real for them, right? And the better you are at approaching those reps as real, and the more reps you do, the more comfortable you will be in creating this content. So let me give you an example. Like I create a lot of video, and I'm in a lot of places, and I don't love how I show up in all of them. I'll just be honest. But because I have so many out there, how do you pick? Like, how do you pick? It all becomes like a giant resume at one point. So it is about having enough content out there where you can't pick one or another to say, that was bad, that could be better. Then they just become kind of all in the pot of the content that you've created and put out into the world.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's jump to a couple more questions. I think we've got a few minutes here. So Dr. Paula C. Perez says, selfie phones, help. How do I position the phone so that it appears that I'm looking at the viewer?
So good. I'm going to tell you this. I don't know if it's a secret, but this tip I got from my 13-year-old neighbor. She's amazing. Is first of all, and these are selfie videos, I know, but this works for photos too, is you raise it higher. And I'm going to see if I can show you. Okay. So do you see this green? This is an iPhone. Do you see this green dot? You see that green dot right there to the right of the camera? That's where you look. So find the green dot. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe they have those on the Android too. But there is an actual dot that you can look at. And raise it high, like my 13-year-old neighbor, and you'll have a video that you will hopefully post.
Yeah. I think some of that is, as we've been talking about, reps and practice as well. So in my office or in my space here, I've got several cameras. Not all of them are in line with the computer screen, etc. So as you develop, you get into the space where you just tell yourself, I've got to look into the lens. That lens becomes your audience. That lens becomes the people who you're talking to. So right now, I can't see some things. There's some things that are in my periphery that are blurry, but because I want to make that connection, I'm looking directly at that lens. So really just understanding where your lens is a helpful thing for you to understand. I was just redundant just now in my sentence, but it's okay. All right. So
I'll share one more tip, Robert, because we used to have consultants to come into the stations to help us with our on-camera delivery. And this one was pretty powerful. And I learned this early on, is when you're looking into the camera, it's just a camera, whether it's the dot or whether it's, some people like to look at themselves, and that's fine too, if that's because you're not going to be looking into the camera itself, but whatever you're looking at, it's sometimes a solitary thing, but it's really powerful if you can imagine, maybe it's your client, maybe it's a customer, maybe it's your best friend, actually sitting there on the other side of the camera, and you, when you're speaking into the camera, you're actually talking to them. It's a great way to really imagine that you're speaking to one other person, if that helps you. Because for some people, it really is hard for them to imagine speaking into a camera and it being impactful. But if you can think that it's maybe your best friend, your spouse, a client, then you really feel like you're talking to that person one-on-one. You become a different person. You become more of you as if you were live on camera.
Yeah. I think I want to just to add to what you're saying. One of the things that people get caught up in as well is making sure that they're looking at the lens. And then after a while, it can kind of become creepy if I'm only looking directly at the lens. I want you to think, as Cheryl is saying, if you're having a conversation with somebody, do you stare them in their eyes the entire time? Or do you have moments where you kind of look away and it's just natural and you come back and you re-engage and you reconnect with them? With camera or being on video, it's very similar. It's very similar. It's literally a conversation. And so you're looking in the camera, but it's okay. There's some times where you may need to do something. If I'm doing a show on Monday morning or whenever I'm doing a live stream, I need to look away to look at my notes for a moment. I do that and then I come back. But the important thing is recognizing where your audience is and making that intentional effort to connect with them. So excellent. Let's go through, I think, one or two more questions. So Kim is manifesting is asking, this is more on live streams or live videos. Kim is asking, what do you do to make sure that you engage your audience and have them stick around? For example, calling their name, or do you have any other live audience hacks?
Well, I would say we're actually trying to do it here, Kim, as we're putting this presentation together. We are calling people out. We're asking questions. We're asking for responses. We're talking to each other. And we are, as we're reading the comments, trying to tailor our content a little bit, tailor our stories to what people in the audience, current audience, is interested in. And as Robert did earlier, talking about this giveaway that I'm doing with the video audits, asking people to stick around until the end, because we're almost nearing the end of our time together for this session. We're asking people to stay till the end to get details on what could be potentially valuable to someone who wants a video audit. So we're modeling what you could potentially do in your presentations to get people to engage and to stick around, because both of those things are pretty important. Is you want people, you want the feedback. You want to know if you're going to spend time to do something, you want to know if it's landing. And then you also want them to get a result. So
yeah. Fantastic. Let's do one more, and then I think we are just about out of time. So the nonprofit Life by Association says, I believe scripting is important, but if it's read, it seems unnatural. Are bullet points better when you're using a teleprompter rather than a fully written out script?
That's a good, okay. So I will say is I love teleprompters. It's been something I've used throughout my career. For me, a written out script works just fine because I've worked with teleprompters for so very many years, and Big View is a very, 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 very good one. If you are the type of person where bullet points can work better, then definitely do that. Because if you are the type of person who you're not really familiar with a teleprompter and you maybe sound a little robotic using it because you're reading, then put your practice for real with the Big View app. Practice for real using the teleprompter app, where you can be comfortable using it in order to tell your stories. So there's not a right answer or a wrong answer. It is really the person and whatever makes sense for you. For me, a teleprompter is fine. I'm fine with bullet points too, but if I'm using a teleprompter, I need the whole thing written out. Bullets don't work for me if I'm using a teleprompter. But if you need some support using a teleprompter, use your 5-day video challenge on the teleprompter app itself, and you'll get better at it.
Love it. I think the important word that you've used multiple times here is practice. All of the questions that we're asking here, the majority of them come about via just practicing and being willing to watch yourself. Yeah, I know that we are our worst critics quite often, but the practice of watching yourself and seeing how you can become just 1% better each
Mm.
day, each video. How can you improve just one small tweak that's just going to make your video more professional, more polished, more connective with your audience? That's why we keep talking about practice and repetitions. Cheryl, tell us one last time what we need to do for this giveaway and how to get in touch with you.
Yes, please find me on LinkedIn at Cheryl Tan Media. Send me a DM, a message within LinkedIn, letting me know your greatest takeaway from our session today. I'll send you a link to my calendar and you'll be able to book a 15-minute video audit.
Thank you. Thank you, Cheryl. This has been fantastic. I appreciate your insights. I appreciate your expertise. And I know that some people out there are getting ready to engage on a 5-day challenge. I see somebody else already saying they made an 11-second video and they loved it. Good deal. Well, listen, y'all, thank you so much for coming out to another Big View educational session. I'm Robert Kennedy III. If you'd like to get in touch with me, just go to getintouchwithrk3.com. As a matter of fact, if you're a real estate agent and you want to make sure that you're better on video, you want to be able to share your stories more effectively, we're launching later this month our video story bootcamp. So go to getintouchwithrk3.com and you can get more information there. And if you are somebody who wants to be better on video, if you want to get more confidence, make sure that you get connected with Cheryl at CherylTanMedia.com. You can reach her on LinkedIn, and you can do that by just replaying this thing and using the Big View app for all of your video needs. All right, it's been fantastic hanging out with all of you for this hour. We'll see y'all at the next video. I'm messing up my words. Cheryl, you made me nervous. I'll see you at the next Big View educational session. See ya.
Bye.
Storytellers, thanks for joining me on the session. I'm so pumped that we were connected, and I hope you found real value in what was shared. Do me a favor. I want to continue the journey with you. Head on over to getintouchwithrk3.com. That's right, getintouchwithrk3.com. On that page, you'll find all of the different places on the interwebs that you can get connected with me. And there are also some great resources for you to download. Download them because they're designed to help you become better presenters, better communicators, and video storytellers. And that's what we need more of in this world, right? Listen, get connected. Go to getintouchwithrk3.com. I'm RK3, and I hope to see you in my inbox real soon.
Teleprompter, create videos you're proud of. Easily trim your video by selecting the words where you want to start and end. Color your presentation with automatic subtitles and highlighting keywords. Add your brand logo. Add music for an emotional touch. Add your contact info on an animated business card on all your videos. Easily replace green screen with an image or a video loop. Stand out with a web page with your logo, your video at the center, and personalized button for visitors to interact. It's one tap to simultaneously upload your videos on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Always know what to say next with the Big View teleprompter.